Hello everybody. Today we are here with Davide, also working here at the DSMZ in Braunschweig. Thanks that you give us the time that we get a little short interview with you. And yeah, let's start right away. That you shortly introduce yourself. Who are you? Where you're from? Your background? A little bit about your scientific career, your development up to now at the DSMZ.
Yeah, so hello everyone, I'm Davide Foggionato, I'm from Italy, and I did my master in biotechnology in Italy. Then I moved to Freiburg with the Erasmus scholarship, where I did my PhD in molecular genetics, so in Germany. And then after my PhD I moved to the US for a couple of postdocs in molecular evolution, so I switched topic again. And then I came back to Europe after a couple of years, back to Germany, where I start my activity like a science administrator and project manager at the Helmholtz-Zentrum for infection disease here in Braunschweig and then in Hanover. And then I came lately, a couple of years ago, here at the DSMZ at the Department for Science Policy under the lead of Amber Scholz. So now I'm working on science policy and all the activities that are related to the science policy environment, and also here for the microbe project.
Okay, thank you. You already mentioned the microbe project. So, what are you doing in the microbe project, or how did you came into the project, and what are your main goals for the microbe project?
Yeah, so I'm part of the microbe project. I have been lucky to be part of it from the beginning. So I follow up really the whole development since the kickstart in Vienna, and so we follow the policy, so work package 5, and with the policy work that we do, we try to follow the compliance, for example, because so we have this huge consortium of different microbiologists that are divided all around Europe. So that's the interesting question is what happens when you use different genetic resources like a microbe from different environment and from different nations all around Europe. And especially for this synthetic consortia, that is one of the aim of microbe, to get then the bacteria back together, possibly from different sources and different nation or provider country, and then to generate some new consortia or microbial community that have component from genetic component from different countries. And that's a quite interesting question, because different countries can regulate differently the access to genetic resources of the country. And so we are following the compliance for the consortia on how to address this topic and request access in case for access for a particular community or bacteria sample from a specific country. This time we don't have a concrete example, but we are also collaborating with other EU consortia like a Microbe for Climate to address more general question of what is actually relevant for microbiologists to address all this compliance for access that is regulated by the legally binding protocol of the Nagoya Protocol under the big umbrella of the Convention for Biological Diversity. And so we follow this part of the project, and also we address the business possibility that we can have inside a microbe project. So basically, how is possible to generate basically like profit using these new consortia. So we might have different consortia of bacteria originating from the soil, so we might have some application in agriculture, other consortia for the human well-being or the intestinal microbiota, or even some marine example that could pop up. And so we have this different area, and one of the opportunity will be just to generate some product that could be then be profitable for the market. And it's also a very interesting question, because again you can have different components that come together, so component in terms of microbes or microbiological units, And then how do you also share back the profit from the different provider of the different components? So those are the main two topics. So one side, the compliance, so how do you follow the compliance for the governance of access to different genetic resources, and on the other side also try to understand how it's possible to make something such a complex construct also profitable possibly.
Okay, thanks for this interesting insight. You already mentioned now also that why this is so important also inside our micro project. So what do you expect, let's say in 3-5 years, for yourself out of the micro project, but also let's say for the topic itself, what do you expect that can be reached after the end of the project?
Yeah, so I think for me, since I explained at the very beginning, I have a very towards path. Basically, I did a lot of stuff, so I would like definitely to learn more about science policy. It's a very rich field, and there is a lot to dig to better understand how actually nation organize the access of the different genetic resources. And I think that might be also very beneficial for the scope of microbe as an infrastructure that can help also future and follow-up project for the European community on microbial resources to better understand how to solve this kind of challenge of access and benefit sharing for different genetic resources. And also a very interesting topic also that is connected to the access to genetic resources is the compliance with the access to digital sequence information, so basically nucleotide and genetic sequence that are stored in the database that of course we are producing massively here in the micro project, and they are actually open available worldwide basically. That's a very interesting issue because researcher and microbiologists should be aware that there are negotiation on how to govern the benefit derived by the use of this DSI, so digital sequence information, so genetic information in a digital form. And since we are also producing a lot here in our micro project, we are also providing new information globally that can be also used outside of Europe or outside of Germany or the single state, and can be beneficial also in a broader sense for other scientific projects that we don't envision yet, and that's also the whole scope of science. And so we are also promoting this open governance of digital sequence information as part of the micro project.
Okay, thanks very much. I assume also that you have some other life than working here at the DSMZ and also for micro. Maybe you can share with us some insights, what you are doing in your other life, so to say.
Yes, so I cycle a lot. I like to go by bike. I mean, not in a competitive manner, but I bike to work every day, and it's a real pleasure. I like Lower Saxony here, close to, where Braunschweig is located. Is very nice. It's pretty flat, so can be boring if you want some challenge, like you are from Austria, so we don't have many mountains here. And so I like to bring a lot of time outside, especially with my family, and I like board games. This is also something very interesting that I have with friends, and we gather together and we chat and we engage in a different way that we normally engage on a daily basis. So yeah, those are my activity. I also like reading a lot, but it's more like a solitary activity that I do on my own.
Yeah, okay. So thanks very much. Yeah, that was a very nice talk and a good insight in your work and the future challenges also in the more non-scientific areas, non-technical areas also of microbe. And yeah, I wish that you will reach all your goals and that you give yourself, and yeah, thanks again for the interview.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you.